Washington House Voices, that's a weird way of saying it, seeking to retreat from the global leadership. He urged a massive airstrike, just as the U.S. is doing now on the Houthis, just as Israel did before in Iran, but a much bigger attack, arguing such a decisive blow would stop the war and not open a new... Oh my God. This sounds just like the fucking rabid neocons during the Iraq War. Bro, if we do a massive bombing, that would, like, stop the war and not lead to a new war. By us doing a war, we're actually really anti-war if you think about it. So, here you have an Iranian general going, maybe it wasn't an accident, you know what I'm saying? And there's an admission in here that to the extent the Trump regime is interested in getting a deal, which is debatable, right? The Israelis are undermining it every single step of the way. The Israelis are trying to derail that process. The Israelis are trying to say, you can't trust them. Now, by the way, that is the height of irony because the United States pulled out of the Iran agreement that Obama made, which was working, ripped it up, and now we're saying get back in the deal. Well, how would they know that we're going to abide by the deal this time? We could just not abide by the deal this time, just like we did last time. Trump was the guy who ripped it up, and now this guy wants to make a deal. Of course, they're going to be fucking skeptical of that. But more importantly, Israel saying, like, bro, you can't trust them, bro. They're like warmongers and stuff. You guys are currently doing a genocide. You're doing a genocide in Gaza. You've killed minimum 50,000 Palestinians. The real number is probably, about 200,000 Palestinians, 90% of which are civilians, tens of thousands of children, tens of thousands of women, bombed hospitals, bombed schools, bombed UN buildings, bombed aid workers, cutting off all food, fuel, and water going into Gaza. People are literally, we've had 50 children starve to death already. There were nightmare stories of paramedics being killed, murdered by the IDF, and then the IDF bulldozing them and putting them in a mass grave, and then also bulldozing and killing the first responders. And they have the nerve to be like, Iran's sort of like untrustworthy, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. Here you have an Israeli general saying, yeah, some people say it was an accident. Others might say it was an attack. Because now Iran's saying it wasn't rocket fuel, but Israel is saying, no, this was fuel for ballistic rockets, so that's why we attacked. What the fuck? What the fuck? So now, by the way, let's game this out. If Iran thinks this was an Israeli strike and they retaliate, how do you think the media in the West is going to talk about it? You think they're going to say Iran retaliates after being offensively hit by Israel? No, they're going to say Iran threw the first punch. Iran was the aggressor. Iran went on the offense. Iran targeted little old Israel who were just minding their business. And this is how a narrative is spun. I mean, we saw this with the genocide in Gaza. Any U.S. media outlet, and there was a quantitative analysis on this, any U.S. media outlet talking about Israeli victims, it would be very emotive language. It would say Palestinians did terrorism. It was brutal. It was horrific. It was barbaric. It was savage. They would use language like that. But when the roles were reversed and it was Palestinian victims, the language would be very passive, right? It'd be like a blast allegedly hurt 27 Palestinians, right? They wouldn't assign agency to the Israelis. They wouldn't talk about it in moral terms and definitive terms. And so now, again, we're in a position where if what this guy's saying is true and Iran retaliates, the Western media is going to go, Iran threw the first punch and started a war with Israel. How dare they? Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. Now, remember also, another reason why this very likely may have been an attack is what Trump said. Trump said, I told Netanyahu, I told Israel, you guys do what you want. If you guys want to attack, you can attack. No problem whatsoever. Well, everybody knows Israel's wanted a war with Iran for decades now. And Hezbollah has never been more weakened. Hamas has never been more weakened. They view this as an opportunity with their proxies so weakened. And so Trump gave them the green light, said, you guys do what you want. And then, would you look at that? There was a massive explosion at a port, a very important port that they had, where allegedly they were bringing in ballistic rocket fuel. So I don't know, man. The more I look at this, the more I start thinking, because when I first saw the explosion, my initial thought was like, oh my God, Israel attacked, right? But then, I didn't see much chatter about it, and the initial reports were that it was an accident, so I was like, okay, I guess it was an accident. But then, boom, a couple days later, we get this. An Israeli general being like, maybe it was an accident, but maybe it was a planned attack and not an accident. Basically taunting the Iranians, right? So, Jesus Christ, this is... And, of course, we're looking at a country, the same country that's doing a genocide in Gaza, the same country that's also been relentlessly bombing Lebanon, right? To them, they're like, fuck it, let's fight a war on all fronts. Why not? Let's go to war with Iran, too. And then, remember, Trump also said in that Time magazine interview, he was asked if Netanyahu was going to drag the U.S. into war. And he was like, no, he's not going to drag us into war. He's not going to do that. And then he said something like, but I'm going to go in willingly in that scenario. What? You're going to go in willingly what? Trump says, if they don't make a deal with me on this. But the thing is, the deal would just be the Obama deal. And Trump ripped up the Obama deal. So what does he want to do? Just renegotiate the exact same terms and then jump in it and this time abide by it? Is that what's going to happen? There's no trusting the U.S., bro. There's no trusting the U.S. There's obviously no trusting Israel. That's the most obvious thing in the world. Right? It's the most obvious thing in the world that we're looking at. But it looks to me like they are taunting and like they actually did the attack. And Iran might be trying to save face by saying, oh, yeah, no, it was an accident, right? And it also buys them more time to figure out, like, what the fuck do we do? These people are attacking. Are they gonna not stop attacking us, right? It's a very scary place to be in. But there you have it, man. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this, because this is a massive escalation, and we keep getting closer and closer to a colossal regional war where, yes, the U.S. would be involved. And what Trump doesn't understand is this. Trump genuinely thinks if he does war with Iran, he really thinks, oh my God, we're going to have the rally around the flag effect and my poll numbers are going to go up. And right now, his poll numbers are in the shitter and he knows it even though he lies about it. And so he's going to be looking for ways to make his poll numbers go up. He said about Obama's polls are low. It looks like he's probably going to do a war with Iran. This is what he thinks. This is how he thinks. And so he thinks, hey, if we do this, then I'll be better off. No, you won't, you fucking idiot. You're only going to have the rally around the flag effect. Number one, if we were actually attacked at home, which maybe they do a false flag, I don't know. But also, if you have to do a massive propaganda campaign. People don't remember, but leading up to the war in Iraq, we had 2 years of relentless propaganda about how Saddam Hussein wants to attack us, and he's on the verge of attacking us, and he has weapons of mass destruction, and he might nuke us, and he helped do 9/11, and all this stuff. And that's the reason why the American public was like, okay, fine, let's go to war with Saddam Hussein. But Trump has done zero propaganda buildup. Zero. If anything, it's clear that we're the aggressors and Israel's the aggressor. Right? So, of course, his number's going to go down more if he launches a massive war in Iran, especially since half the time on the campaign trail, he wouldn't shut the fuck up about Kamala's a warmonger and Liz Cheney's a warmonger, and all she wants to do is shoot people in the face. And me, I'm in favor of peace. I'm the peace candidate. I'm the dove. And so that is clearly bullshit. It's clearly bullshit. And look, if you had gun to head, what do I think happened here? I think it was an Israeli strike. And I think more people should be talking about it. And more people should realize we are a fucking pube hair's length away from war with Iran. Which sounds, that's great, right? It's exactly what we need these days. We got the economy absolutely imploding. That's another thing. Trump will think a war will help the economy too, right? So we got the economy absolutely imploding. We got the economy contracting at the same time. Inflation's going up. That's stagflation. The stock market obviously absolutely tanking. The Federal Reserve having no idea what to do. A war on the Constitution and due process here at home. Other threats and warmongering and bombing of Yemen and bombing of Somalia. And why not add another fucking world-altering, historic fucking crime to everything that they've been doing so far? Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.